built this city, we built this city, rock and roll, built this city, oh, come on, built this city, rock and roll. What's going on out there? Happy Wildin' Out Wednesday. It's hump day. And speaking of humping, that's why we're going to talk about the soon-to-be former mayor, Eric Adams, because Eric was humping around. So a young lady by the name of Jasmine Ray, and I had pulled up some little fun facts about her. So we'll just go over some of it. But anyway, he gives his side Jawn a job paying, I think it's either $160,000 or $161,000 per year, is like some sports and athletic advisor or something like that. Basically a made-up job. And listen, you can't knock the hustle because, hey, look, you're making some money. Your side Jawn, she got to make some money too, right? So I don't see any big deal with it, except when you're at the helm of something, especially the largest city in the country and one of the largest and most popular and most influential cities in the world. You have to make sure that you do things the right way. Now, the only thing that I would say that doesn't make him look worse is that he did have a longtime girlfriend, I think still does, but he was never actually married to the longtime girlfriend. So, it couldn't be anything about, being an adulterer or anything like that. So let's kind of look at it here. All right. So once again, as I told you, her name is Jasmine Ray, and she served as the director of the mayor's Office of Sports, Wellness, and Recreation. So this is a position that he created in 2022 after he had first gotten elected. All right. So the relationship supposedly started, they met each other at a Brooklyn Nets game back in 2014 or whatever, and it went from 2014 to 2016. So you might say, hey man, look, a lot of people got side Jawns. What's the significance of bringing up his side Jawn now? Well, here's the issue. Allegedly, supposedly, he had asked her not to come out with a book telling anything about his relationship as far as what they had going on, especially by him being the mayor of one of the biggest city in the country and one of the most influential cities in the world. So he wanted to kind of keep that as private life, and I give it to him. They kept it good. I never knew anything about it. Most people, and I'm not in New York, but it's close enough. And because we do know about everything that happened with him accepting gifts from the Turkish government, including up to, I believe, at one point, $20,000 hotel suite upgrades on plane tickets. So who knows who he was taking? Was he taking a side Jawn or was he taking his main Jawn? But either way, he didn't have a married Jawn. So, it's kind of hard to peg him down as a total creep for doing that. But because I think that a lot of times with guys, we look at it like this and we say, well, you know what? I got a, main Jawn or main person, even though a lot of us should be too old to think that way. But like I got somebody main, and then I got, a little something on the side. But you know what I'm also here to tell you? There's a lot of women that think the same way. There's a lot of women who don't necessarily fit the criteria of being a stand-up person when it comes down to just dealing with one guy. Now, personally, do I have experience? Yes. Do I hear about other guys who have these experiences? Absolutely, yes. Guys who have a couple of dollars? Yes. Guys who don't have as many couple of dollars? Yes. And somebody might say, well, why is that? Have we gotten to a point where we live in a side Jawn society? But what I really think is that a lot of people are doing it, and because of social media and because of easier access to people, this happens. So let me tell you a story about how I was a side Jawn. So what happens is many moons ago, back in the early 2000s, let's just say 2001, 2002, around that time. Buddy of mine, Ken Raw, great accountant, free promotion, tax masters, Kenny Brown. So what it was that he opened a club called Y2K. So a lot of us here from West Philly, we all got together, and it was a place for us to be able to go that we considered kind of like ours, because it was our buddy who was running it. And so we would go there every Friday, Saturday night. So, as to not dox anybody, no, I won't give exactly what state, but we had a contingent of out-of-state people who would come typically, and they were from further up north, but once again, won't give the state. And what happened was that, they would frequent and come down, and, we would do ski trips. We would do just a bunch of different stuff. So, but you know how it is when you're young, you're meeting a bunch of people. So anyway, I met this one that kind of caught my attention, and I said, hey, listen, because back then, I don't even think, I know I had a cell phone, but I think it was still one of those things where some people had cell phones, but not everybody had cell phone like now. And you know what she said to me? She said, hey, big boy, you're looking kind of cute over there, but I live with somebody. And I said, don't worry about it. I got you. I understand. People live with people. So she says to me, she says, but this is what I can do, because I work in a corporate office of such and such and such and such. So although I live with my guy and I don't have a cell phone, I can't, of course, give you the home number. But what I can do is that if you're really serious about being seen or having me come down to Philly, what you can do is you can call my job phone. So she gets her pen out and everything, and she gets her pen out, so she writes down her job number. So I give her my cell phone number, and you know how it is sometimes with women. They always usually got so many people in line, waiting for their services. So if you call, you call. A lot of times they won't call you. You'll have to at least initiate the first call. So I get the job number, and I'm like, man, I ain't never called nobody's job before. You know what I'm saying? But she was attractive, and she had Duncan Hines. So I said, you know what, let's go for it. And she was shocked because I called the job phone. Well, anyway, that kind of led into a situation where we kicked it for a minute. We kicked it for about a year, maybe a year and a half, seeing each other, back and forth on the train and stuff. Well, her more down here, but you know what I'm saying. So back then, and we're talking about 23 years ago, it was a harder deal to try to be able to have like a side situation. But now with text messaging or smartphones being at an all-time high, Instagram, Facebook, dating apps and everything like that, it's easier to be connected to someone that you could potentially be attracted to. Now, in this case with Mayor Adams, I mean, he's a big deal. He was a big deal. He was the mayor of, I think, the borough of Brooklyn before he was actually the mayor of the entire city. But still, even Brooklyn has a population, I think, of over 2 million people. So still, that's a huge position and a powerful position that he already had. So he already had a lot of clout within the city. So, she sees this guy. She meets him at the Nets game. And this is why, we'll talk about this one day. Do women value money and power over being attracted to a guy? So he meets her at a Nets game, and then they start going into this whatever love affair. All right. She's a little younger than he is. She's a pretty woman, good looking woman. And so they start kicking it. But in this society now, having a side Jawn or side piece, some people call it, or extramarital or whatever, it's really not that hard to do. That's why even with me, I would be like, even if I were to even think about getting into a marriage or think about, I would hope that I can meet somebody who's not as active on social media and somebody who hasn't been as active on dating apps, attempting to, look around for somebody that they may want to, be with or date or anything like that. Because just with full disclosure, I've never been on a dating app. And that's not to knock anybody. I think that if it works for you, it works for you. I still get a thrill out of, kind of doing it the old fashioned way. Like, hey, you, how you feeling? No, this is how it's starting out. I say, hey, yo, what's up? What's up with you? First question I want to ask, are you married or are you single? And, that might be a little forward for some people, but hey, listen, let's get straight to the point. Because if you tell me you're married, or this is what I get sometimes too, I'm not married, but it's complicated. It's cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day. But if you get I'm not married, I'm single, then hell, let's proceed. Let's find something good to talk about. Right? So, and then, let's exchange information. But it's too easy now to have a side Jawn. It's too easy. And in this climate, it's so easy because, like I said, and the reason why I gave you that scenario about me having had to call her job phone is because it's not that hard anymore. A person, like for instance, because of the smartphone, a person doesn't have to try to call and leave a message like we would do on a house phone. All a person has to do is send a text message to you. And a text message beep goes off the same as an email, same as a Facebook, different notifications. So even if you're sitting right there next to your folks, it's just a text message. It's not like somebody dial and you got to say, hold on, hello. All right, let me walk over to the other room. Yeah, you ain't got to do all that. You can do everything nonverbal. Now, the problem with this Jasmine is that now she's come out with, I don't know if it's a tell-all book, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a book. And you may say, well, why she come out with a book? My thinking, she had a $160,000 a year job over the last 4 years that she definitely won't maintain. I think they say the guy Mondani is probably going to be the next mayor. So she's definitely not going to maintain that position. But just think about it. If somebody was paying you $160,000 a year to be the director of something, right? Some kind of made up position, and the perks of still probably sleeping with the mayor of New York City, and a couple things probably happened. Mayor Adams' main Jawn probably went a little something like this, and y'all know how this go. You better stop messing with her or else, because I know all of the real secrets. And you want to keep me around? You want to keep playing around with these little, probably in her estimation, young girls? You want to keep playing around with them? I'm going to show you what happens when you play around with them. So Mayor Adams probably said, you know what? I've been wanting to break it off anyway. You know what I'm saying? I like messing with her, but she's probably, she gets a little erratic and out of sorts. But you ready for this? They said that even Jasmine had a Jawn. They both got Jawns. It's just that, once again, you got one guy who's the mayor of New York City and his main Jawn, and then you got Jasmine who messes with the mayor of New York City on the side, but she got her main Jawn. But yet she's coming out with a tell-all book. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Once again, and as I've said in the past, two things. You better watch who you have kids with, and you better watch who you choose to deal with and keep inside of your circle. Because people do some crazy stuff. And you know what's going to happen. She'll sell a lot of books initially because it's him. Because people always want to know what salacious stuff, the juice. But then after that, then what? A guy that gave you $160,000 per year position, you now are going to sell out and put stuff in a book about him. So an ending, because I know what's happened to all of us, or most of us, is the side Jawn really worth having? Or is the side Jawn, like most of us know, is probably nothing more than a big, cute headache? But you tell me what you think. And since she doesn't have this $161,000 job anymore, Mayor Adams is about to lose his job. We should all get together and tell them to live life. Don't let life live you.